New drivers may feel overconfident after a few lessons. However, this can lead them to take risks. Example, a teen may be speeding on a wet road thinking, hey, I can brake in time, but they lose control. Next, fear or anxiety. It happens to all of us. But in new drivers, it takes a whole new level. Why? Because they don't have experience in dealing with fear and dealing with anxiety. An older driver has past memories, prior associations. Okay, I'm slipping on ice. I'm not going to panic. I'm going to lift my foot. I'm going to kind of glide the car. A beginning driver, they have no memories of what to do. So they're going to oversteer the wheel. They're going to hit that gas. They're going to hit that brake, and then they're going to flip their car. Usually, you can tell from maybe the type of accident how old the driver is or what they'll do. It just really depends on the situation. Example, this morning on the way into work, there were two cars that were flipped upside down. From the way the skid was and how the vehicles were aligned, it probably looked like a younger driver because they were skid marks from the right lane, the slow lane, all the way across where the cars hit the wall on the left and flipped over. So there was a high rate of speed. Fear or anxiety. Nervous drivers can hesitate. I teach, hey, how you doing? I teach all types of drivers, anxiety and fear. Do you know the Turkish word for if you can? I do not. Please feel free to put it in. New drivers can hesitate or panic in high pressure situations. Remember, I'm an instructor. I teach people how to drive. And by the nature of teaching people how to drive, it can lead to fear where they don't make a decision, meaning the light just turned yellow. I see a truck coming or a car. I have to hit the brake because if I don't hit the brake, that student, teen or adult, is going to lose control and have a bad outcome, usually an accident. So I need to hit the brake. So nervous drivers can hesitate or panic in high pressure situations. Example, a beginner freezes during a yellow light and gets rear-ended. Remember, I just talked about that. So you never want to slam the brakes and hit them really hard because if you slam the brakes and hit them really hard, you're going to skid. So I always tell my clients to squeeze the brake. Distractions. Beginning drivers have to develop a habit of ignoring distractions where your uncle, your mom, your dad, they have an arsenal of methods to ignore distractions, such as you, mom, 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 dad, 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 dad. And you're there with them, but literally they're ignoring you. So beginners, John, 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 their whole cognitive process shuts down. And literally, you can't drive. Beginners haven't developed a habit of ignoring distractions. Example, a driver glances at a text and rear-ends another car at a red light. You see videos like this all the time. It's a younger driver, they're under 10 years, or someone over 10 years. Many of you are 16, 18, 20. 10 years put you at 30, 21, 31, 25, 35. But if you haven't driven, you haven't developed those mental, emotional, social cues to keep you safe. And that's the difference between a beginner driver, 0 to 5 years, and an intermediate, 5 to 7, and then 10 years and up, now you become that master. Okay? Next, information overload. This would happen to me early on in my career when I was teaching adults and teens how to drive. I would talk so much. Some of you are probably saying, you talk too much already. Well, I would talk too much and literally overload them because I wanted to give my driver as much information as possible. And your mom and dad may do this. You listen to me. You cannot tell mom, stop talking. That's the insult. You cannot tell dad, stop talking. That's an insult. Mom and dad, can you please slow down? You're overloading me. Say this with me. Mom and dad, can you please slow down? You're overloading me. Then they'll realize, okay, I'm talking too much. But you have to be careful when you say that because they could be very offended. With too many things to focus on, signs, signals, pedestrians, I'm just naming those three, there's more. You're overwhelmed. Downtown Detroit, Michigan, downtown Houston, Texas, downtown Los Angeles, California. You will get overstimulation and your mind just shuts down momentarily. We're driving through lights. They're turning yellow. The light is turning green, but a car's getting ready to run the light. A person is deciding to run right out in front of us. So what I try to do as a student driver, instructor, I try to mentally separate myself from you. I don't watch you. I watch what the car is doing. This way, hopefully we, because we're in the car together, can be ensured of no accidents, of not hitting a curb, not running a light, not striking a car, not running over a pedestrian, not backing into anything. I'm really giving you the science of teaching someone how to drive. So this is a little bit different. So if you like science and you like data, then you need to be throwing your questions in because we're going deep and we're going really granular, okay? So a beginning driver misses a no left turn sign and causes a collision at an intersection. This is so common for beginning instructors and beginning drivers. And mom and dad, if you have a son or daughter who's fresh out of a driver's education program, a graduated license, they haven't developed those processing skills yet. So what does this mean? You start off in the neighborhood. You make 12 right turns. You make 12 left turns. Are they stopping at the end of the intersection? Are they looking left? Are they looking right? Or are they blindly going out onto the main thoroughfare? You're about to get hit by a bus because beginning drivers don't judge distance properly. So you're going to say to yourself, why did my son pull out in front of this truck? Why did my daughter not see that motorcycle? Because they can't judge distance yet. They haven't learned how to judge distance yet. That is so important. Peer pressure. The more friends you have in the car, the more likely you are to do stupid stuff. Race someone. Blow through a red. Cut off a semi-truck. Are you kidding me? Do you want to end your life prematurely? And yes, the people who are watching this are that 16 to about 26. You don't have the experience yet to step away from peer pressure. Example, someone calls you bald. I got that fresh crispy, right? Someone says your edges are messed up. Someone talks about your skin. Someone talks about your shoes. Someone says you're stupid. These things affect us internally. And when you're younger, your friend group is everything. And you care about what people think. We all do. But when you're learning how to drive, your peers hold more weight than your parents. I'm saying this because I'm in education. I teach driver's education. I've been doing the process. So you have to be careful what friends you have. Keep your friend circle small. I always talk about this. New drivers may show off in front of friends. A teen driver may take a turn too sharply and flip the car. Peer pressure. Let's talk about knowledge and skill deficits next. We going deep. You got questions, you put them in. And you can tell your friends, man, we getting deep. We're talking about driver's ed. We're talking about beginning drivers. We're going into the science of driving. And if you enjoy this, give it a thumbs up. Let me know. Leave comments. Knowledge and skill deficits. Beginner drivers have skill deficits. Why? You haven't built up your skills. Example, I'm a pretty good video gamer. I was ranked nationally. I played every single day 4 to 6 hours to the point where I was addicted to video games. I knew how to hide at angles. When someone was coming, I would use the building. I didn't have a hack or a cheat code, but I understood angles, elevation. Okay? When you're driving, you haven't built up that data in your mind yet to instantly, okay, I'm in this situation, I need to do these 4 things. I'm in that situation, I need to do these 2 things. When you're driving as a beginner, you only know one thing. That's to drive. But that one thing could kill you. Whereas someone over 10 years, well, a wrong way driver's coming at me. I'm going to steer to the right, go off to the shoulder. A beginning driver, they panic, oversteer, and they get hit head on. I'm using those extreme examples because those head-on collisions are very common, more than you think. Misjudging speed and distance. Without experience, it's hard to judge how fast other cars are traveling. I just told you that. Beginning drivers have a difficult time judging speed and distance. Honey, why did you pull out in front of that car? I'm sorry, I didn't know. And mom and dad, they don't know. Uncle, auntie, they don't know. So you need to coach them. But they give me an attitude. Then don't drive them. If they don't want to listen, then don't drive them. I'm going to send you back to your mom and dad because you're not listening to me as your uncle. I love you and care, but if you do that again, I'm not going to, okay, uncle, I'm sorry. It's true. A beginner pulls out in front of a fast-moving car, causing a near-miss collision. It happens to me all the time. I have a special product coming tomorrow, and it will give all of you a first-person perspective when I drive with the beginning driver. Also, when I'm driving and I show you from the perspective of a beginning driver, I think it will definitely educate you because that's what I'm about. I'm about educating you. And along the way, some of this information will save someone's life. And that's what's the most important thing. It's about the common good. And if you do good things for other people, it comes back to you in so many different ways. And that's what we're trying to teach the next generation of people, your coaches, your doctors, your lawyers, your teachers. Unfamiliar with the controls. If we got in a Tesla Plaid right now, I would not be familiar with the controls. I would not know how to start it and put it in gear. I've been in a couple of Teslas. I wouldn't know the capabilities. I know it's very fast. I know those electric motors have a lot of torque. I also know it's a very safe vehicle with the cameras and the AI technology. That's very intriguing. But would I put it on a heavy stop and go traffic, that cruise control thing? No, because I want to be predictable when I drive. And I know I'm talking to a group of 20 to maybe 40 years old. And those Teslas are coming back off of lease. They're $30,000, $25,000. You can get one of those and have a good vehicle with 350, 375 miles range. The battery's not that degraded. You could get a plug at your house. You have one of the safest vehicles that could get you through high school and through college. And if you plan it carefully, you're good for the next 7, 10, 12 years. Okay? Why am I telling you this? Because we're unfamiliar with the controls. Beginners might struggle to use signals. When I'm driving adults or teens, they forget left hand and right hand. They are looking for the blinker. They hit the shifter. The car goes in reverse. I had a client do that this past weekend. They thought the shifter on the column was the blinker. They hit it. The car almost went in reverse. I had to stop it with my hand because we almost blew up the transmission. Some of you are saying, that really happened? Yes, because some cars have the shifter on the column. Some cars have the shifter on the floor. Some cars have a button. Beginning drivers don't remember in panic situations. So you've got to guide them. The shifter's there, blinkers on the left. Don't touch that. And I don't want to say I talk in a monotone voice, but if I get too hyped and too excited, they're going to panic. So I have to control my energy. And it's really a different side of driver's ed that many of you will never see because no one ever talks about it. Okay? Because we want to ensure safety. Safety is the most important thing for beginning drivers. Okay? So unfamiliar controls. A driver forgets to turn on headlights at night. We've gotten petrol. It's at night. The client forgets to turn on lights. We pull out and almost get hit and killed. Some cars don't have automatic headlights. Or we're going into the classroom and I'm with the car with manual headlights. We had an evening drive. I used to teach class 7 to 9 p.m., right? I was not doing this then on the social media thing, but just imagine if we could go back and share those humble, pure stories of driving in the city, of driving in a newly developed subdivision. Now that has over 300,000 people. We're on a country road. The road is narrow. So that's important. Merging and making turns. They may change lanes too slow. Beginning drivers change lanes too slow. Or they overturn the wheel. An example, a driver's merges late on the highway. Happens all the time. They literally put their foot on the brake. We're going 60, all of a sudden we're going 30. I'm saying, what's going on? They just put their foot on the brake. And then I say to them, you can't do that. And some of you are saying, how do you stay so calm? I'm an enthusiast. I love cars. I love performance. And over the next few days, I'm hoping you're going to get a point of view, a first-person point of view of someone learning how to drive. You'll see the road. You'll see the hands. You'll see everything. And that will really give you more insight and then help you, because that's the goal of what I'm doing, is to help you learn. Forcing drivers to brake suddenly. Beginning drivers always do that because they mistake the gas for the brake. They think they're hitting the gas, they hit the brake. Poor hazard perception. New drivers may not recognize potential dangers. They're driving too close to a truck's blind spot. And this is an unaware risk. I have to tell them, get out of the truck's blind spot. Why are you slowing down? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know. And students don't listen, or they're socializing. I stop. Class must be number one. And I have kicked out students before because they're too busy socializing or they're on their phone. When we're in class in person, the phones go on the desk because you're just looking at social media. You're not paying attention. And I'm teaching you a lifelong skill that I need you to elevate and grow. We're talking about knowledge and skill deficits. Beginner drivers start with deficits because they don't have knowledge. Example, I used to coach varsity basketball. We had a 1-3-1 press, diamond press. If we have a young point guard, they're going to go straight to the corner to the left or the corner to the right. Then I have my person who's the fastest. Why are you talking about basketball? We're talking about driving. I'm giving you a real life example. I have my fastest, most aggressive girl or guy. They force that person to the left or right. My other three at half court, they wait. Like piranha in a fish tank. My fastest, most aggressive person forces them to the sideline. And then we come up and trap them. And then I have my two. Remember, we have a 1-3-1. I have my person in the middle drop back. They're playing that center field. And as soon as they go to that long pass, they get an interception. My person who's pressing them in the beginning, right under the basket, boom, easy 2 points. Timeout, timeout, timeout. And we're going to keep being aggressive until you figure out how to beat this. The same thing when you're driving. You don't know the risk. But teams that are experienced, we can't press because they're going to beat the press. It's an easy dunk or it's an easy layup. So we have to pick our times when we press. When you're driving, you want to ensure safety, control, and have room for mistakes. If a beginning driver hits the brake or hits the gas or squeezes the wheel, that's important. So those things are super important. And if you like this type of information, you need to be subscribing. And eventually we're going to have a special subscription where you'll be able to talk to me one-on-one. We'll set some things up. But I just gave you an example. I hope you enjoy this. Subscribe if you're getting value. Bye.